Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Luca, the CEO at Jurny. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hi Luca, thank you for joining the podcast. At first, please tell us what is Jurny.
Yeah, Jurny is a management software for people that are running short-term rental properties or hotels, and that helps you really automate all the moving aspects of the business. Hospitality has been a very slow to innovate, a slow-moving industry, and a lot of the software that is in the industry, it's fragmented. So you have many different solutions doing many different things. Jurny combines best in class, puts them all together, and then creates a lot of automations on top of that and leverages the power of AI to do so.
That's awesome. What would you say are the biggest problems in this space that you solve?
I mentioned a few of them already, but one of them is fragmentation, especially in the short-term rental industry. Hotel, at least, like they have a centralized operation, so if software is fragmented, they can still manage it. But in the short-term rental business, by its nature, it's extremely fragmented. So you usually have operations spread out, unless you're geolocated specifically in a city. But even then, it's harder. You have multiple units in a single place. You're going to have multiple units in multiple different places. So that compounds on top of the fragmentations of software. But I think as things evolve, the whole industry is going to suffer with this software fragmentation by having different solutions everywhere. And that's one problem. But the second problem that comes with fragmentation is not just like it's hard to manage, but it's also hard to properly leverage it for automations. And with the rise of AI,
Yeah.
as you know, a centralized data source is extremely important. Having proprietary, the more data you have, and the more proprietary it is, the more power you have. And I think there's very few people looking into that, especially in our industry, which is very, very, very interesting. And the last is the consequences of all this is obviously increasing automations, decreasing the need of people doing a lot of jobs that a lot of people don't want to do. It's actually harder and harder to find people that want to work in hospitality because it's a hard job.
Yes.
And so this type of technology and AI is going to enable companies to do a lot more with a lot less.
Hey there, fellow entrepreneurs and B2B marketers. Before we dive back into the conversation, let me introduce you to a game changer in the lead generation arena. Lead Feeder. Now, we all know the struggle of identifying those elusive website visitors and turning them into valuable leads. But what if I told you there's a tool that not only promises but delivers on supercharging your lead generation and sales efforts? Enter Lead Feeder. Imagine having the power to identify companies visiting your website, track their behavior in real time, and seamlessly integrate it with your CRM. Lead Feeder is not just a tool, it's your secret weapon for efficient and targeted lead engagement. Now, how is Lead Feeder different? It's the ability to provide detailed insights into visitor behavior, helping your sales team prioritize efforts and close deals faster. With customizable notification, lead scoring, and GDPR compliance, Lead Feeder is changing the game. Are you ready to revolutionize your approach to leads and deals? Head over to leadfeeder.com for your free demo today. That's leadfeeder.com. Don't miss out on the future of successful lead generation with Lead Feeder. Thank you so much, Lead Feeder, for sponsoring this episode. But now, let's get back to it. Thank you for explaining. How about the products? What products do you offer? Or yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
you
we
have
have
so many.
it. Yeah, we have. It's a freemium solution. Really, there's like three main products.
Okay.
The free version is kind of more of an entry level, just to allow people to see how the product looks and feel, and getting familiarized with AI and letting people
Yeah.
know that what we're claiming is true, so you can go and test it for yourself.
Right.
We don't need to come and sell you unless you really need the product. And so, and then it evolves into more premium packages. Like we have a plus and then a pro packages after that. And The Pro really packages also. So until the Plus is everything is done by Jurny, and then on the Pro we package also best in class. So you have, for example, we don't do dynamic pricing. We have a third party software that does it, and we vet it to be the best in class, and it's fully integrated in our platform. So you don't even go in that platform. So it's going to be there. And guest verification systems or cleaning management, which is a very complex thing. Also, we work with a company that also offer a marketplace. So, for instance, if you want to hire cleaners in different markets and stuff like that, that's also fully embedded into our solution. And so those kind of are the tiers and offering you different things. On the basic, for instance, we only integrate with a couple platforms. On the main one, you have direct integration with all the major platforms like Booking.com, Expedia, Airbnb, plus a lot more.
This is great. How important were integrations for your growth?
It is important, definitely is important, but because we choose best in class and we only go one per category or maximum two, versus our competitors that offer a marketplace of vendors, it's a lot easier for us to manage integrations, and so we don't have a massive backlog. Versus this company usually are put in a pretty tough spot because they have to keep integrating, and all these integrations are not that great because they are rushing on getting as many done as possible. Versus us, it's a closed system. It's very much like Apple versus PCs. I like to make the comparison. We're the first in our industry to do this, and being pretty successful at it.
Right. Out of all the features, what would you say are the most loved? Let's say top 3. Or the most used?
Yes. I think that our AI auto-responsive system that also works both for reviews. So, for example, if a guest leaves a review, it automatically responds in super personalized answers. Like it knows like all the nuances of that stay. And all of that guest, so it gives very personalized answers. And then on the auto answering, basically like we have a pre-populated mode where you go on it and a message from a guest. So we have a unified inbox, whether somebody texts you from WhatsApp, text messages, or any of those platforms. It could be Airbnb, Booking.com, doesn't matter, or email. It all goes into the same inbox. And that's all powered by AI. So whenever there's like a guest communication, you have a pre-filled, pre-populated answer. And that's like been extremely, extremely useful for people because they can just click send. People they're not turning on fully autonomous mode yet. We're about 92% accuracy. I think we're going to see that happening when we're going to be close to 99. Or above. But yeah.
And how competitive is your space, and how is Jurny different from the rest?
I think it's pretty competitive because there's a lot of providers, but we definitely found, as I said, the vertically integrated system. There's no one else doing it, or if there are people that just started it. And so they're not even close to what our capabilities are. And I think from the AI perspective, what we have right now, it's cool and cute, but what's about to come, it's going to be like years ahead from anything that it's going to be pretty high up in almost any industry, let alone if you just consider our industry specific.
When exactly did you start the company?
2019.
Okay. And how big is the team right now?
Right now we are 30 people.
And what's the story behind it? How did you come up with the idea?
Um, it's I'll give the short story of the long story. But
Yes.
I was born and raised in Italy, moved to LA, was 21. And a couple of years after I moved to LA, I actually stumbled into an opportunity. It was like early Airbnb. Airbnb wasn't really a thing yet. And someone needed to rent a house for an event, and I was like helping them out. And I was Googling like luxury villas for rent in LA. And I'm like, there must be, like, it's a huge city, must be people renting out villas. And I couldn't find anything, nothing. And I was like, that seems weird. So, anyways, through networking and stuff, I found out that was done through brokers. I met this broker who was like doing it all word of mouth. And I'm like, people are doing short-term rentals through brokers. It's insane. It was for event productions and short-term stays, like
Mm-hmm.
Airbnbs. And I was like, okay, this is a great opportunity. So I started slowly through networking, building a database of homes available for short-term rentals. And I created a landing page called houserentalsrentals.com. And that landing page did $1.2 million in revenue year one.
Wow.
And short-lived business, very short-lived business. That taught me a lot about the American market, how quickly it moves. But I found that gap, and I was playing this basically form of arbitrage, right? And it was extremely lucrative. But after a year, the ecosystem completely changed. So you start having like owners start listing on Airbnb, VRBO, so direct listing, plus 20 competitors popped, including like a couple that were extremely well funded. So then you start competing against like venture-backed businesses, and you can't because you don't have the funding. So like
Yes.
your pay-per-click skyrockets, and it completely changed. Could have been still a sustainable business and evolve, but I always was trying to find like that next big thing. So I kept pivoting the business until I could meet that. So from there, I pivoted into a management company. I build and scale and build that management company to 300 units across 5 different cities in the US. Got venture back when it was a management company. And in building that management company, I realized that I hit a wall because the fragmentations of the business plus the fragmentation of the technology would have not allowed me to scale how I wanted it. And it's funny because we stopped growing and started developing internal software at first for ourselves as a management company. And I watched a huge race of like 20 plus businesses all getting venture back, raising in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And they all fail one after the other, all going after the same vision of scaling businesses basically in the short-term rental business. But I knew that was not going to happen with the current software. So we put all our energy into software, and then we put by putting all our energy there, we realized that we're fixing a much bigger problem to then decide to become a software provider. And then 2 years ago, we made the official pivot and became a software provider. And that's how we got to Jurny, basically. Yeah.
Wow. But basically, it's the same company. It's still venture backed, but pivoted to software.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So we started as a management company in 2019. We were venture backed, so became kind of like a brand new company, venture backed as a management company. But in reality, it's been an 11-year journey of me keep pivoting
Yes.
from one business to another until like I found what the source of the problem.
No, this is a great story. And how much did you raise in 2019?
So we raised, the first round was 1.75 million, and then we raised a $5.5 million round after that. And now we are actually currently raising a crowdfunding. So we just raised $3 million crowdfunding, and we're doing another one. So yeah.
What's your experience with crowdfunding?
I love it. I love it. So many people advise me against it, and I'm like so happy I didn't listen to them.
Why? What did you see?
It's very interesting because I think there's a few things. Like VCs advise against it because I think it's a reputation thing. They think it's going to ruin your reputation, stuff like that. But it's not, absolutely not true. Because in the end of the day, I'm still talking to the VCs I was talking to before. I'm still getting VC back money. So I'm doing kind of like hybrid raises, which I raise a little bit from crowdfunding, a little bit from that. First, so it's not true. And B, if you have good metrics, nobody cares. C, like you have to do whatever it takes to make your business survive when there's tough times. Like, just since 22, basically, it's been a completely different environment to raise money, right?
Yes.
And the last and the best point of all is that you actually create a community. If you have a B2B business, we are technically B2B, but if you're like only going after enterprise businesses, maybe that doesn't work. But anything that goes like from medium to small businesses, even though if you still sell to enterprise, but you also have medium to small businesses or direct to consumer, right? Any of those businesses will get an advantage by creating a community. And because when you create a community, these people will talk well about your brand, they will help you. And even more importantly is if they are your customers and they end up investing in your company, it's very hard that they're going to churn. You have to do something very
Absolutely.
strong for them to churn. And they will be contributing to to the future of your company because they feel part of it, because they are part of it. And so that to me is the best aspect of doing crowdfunding. Besides the money, it's a lot more than money.
Great answer. I love it. I love it. What did you say was your biggest challenge since starting the company?
Man, too many challenges. Which one? The biggest challenge was many challenges.
Or some mistakes that you've done, lessons learned.
Yeah, there's so many lessons learned, many mistakes.
All of them.
It's like you have to make mistakes.
Yes.
It's impossible to make mistakes. If you're scared of making mistakes, you shouldn't start a company. You're not gonna move. You're gonna just like stay still. You have to make mistakes. You have I think your mindset needs to be like go and try and fail and retry it again, and just make sure you don't make the same mistakes twice. That's the only rule. But if you make it twice, no more than twice. Just make sure. But I've learned so much, like it's so easy when you raise quick money and a lot of money. It was such a good fundraising environment for the past decade. Since basically 2009. After that, it's just been a really good funding environment, and so it was kind of easy to raise money. I don't want to say easy because it's not easy. Like it's everything beside easy, but compared to what it is now, it was easy. And so like I think one of the biggest lessons for me, and I've seen it. I have so many friends like Silicon Valley and people that raise it in the hundreds, like $240 million. Those are like insane numbers, right? And they burn it all. And I realized that when you raise money, you have to act like those might be the last money you ever raise. And if you don't do that, that's a mistake. I mean, to me, maybe to other people it is not, but to me it is. You have to act like it's the last, and you have to make sure you're building a real business that's real fundamental and needs to be profitable when you want to. Because if not, you find yourself in a difficult position. And raising money doesn't mean that you have built a successful business.
Great answer. Honest, I love it. This needs to be heard by more people. I'm curious to know what's your current go-to-market strategy? What's working for you? How do you get your customers?
Right now, we get our customers by building a good product and creating customer loyalty and investing a lot in customer success.
Yes.
That's our go-to-market strategy. I mean, of course, we do, like, the advantage of doing crowdfunding is that you spread out the word a lot more. More people know about your product. The people investing will talk about your product. So part of our go-to-market strategy is the crowdfunding. We spend very little in advertising. We do very little outreach. We want organic inbound, and we have a lot.
This is the best. I totally agree. And how did you get your first customers when you were just starting out?
I mean, I was in the industry for quite a bit, so I knew a lot of people. So
Network.
I convinced, and I say unfortunately because our V1 of the product was far from ideal. I convinced a few people in the industry to use the product. Maybe too much. We grew too fast at first because we were fixing a good problem. A lot of people knew about us. Our first 6 months to market were insane. We sold over $1 million in ARR. The problem is that we were not ready, and that was a big challenge that we had to go through, is knowing how to run a SaaS company from never. I have never run a SaaS company. I had experience in software, but no experience in scaling or running a SaaS company, which...
If you were to start today with the mindset of today, what would you change, or would you do something different to slow down the growth? Or?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot. A lot of things different. Like many things different. But it's okay. It's normal. It's
of course.
It's part of the learning curve. I don't know exactly how to do many things. One of the things I would do is, raise money early. Some people say it's not good to raise money early. I disagree. But I would not spend them all. I would be very, very careful where every single dollar goes. Make sure that you get value in return. And before trying to scale anything, just make sure that you have all the bases done. Like, you have product market fit, right? You have to make sure you know how to retain a customer, and you know that people really love your product. You have to have those things nailed down before you just go any step further or like start spending money in marketing. That's a big mistake that startups usually make. They start spending way too much money in marketing, business development, when they don't even have product market fit. Hold your horses. Don't listen to the VCs. They're like, we're revenue. You have to grow. You just got to take your time. If you rush to market, it's not good. I've made that mistake more than one time, unfortunately. I said before, you have to learn at the first time. I didn't. But that's something
How do you think
do
founders can find product market fit? How do you define it personally?
Well, I define. So there's a difference between having product market fit and have a sticky product, right? Because you might have product market fit, but then you don't retain customers, which is just as big of a problem. I mean, not having product market fit is bigger because that means that you cannot even sell the product. How to retain it, you can fix it. But I define product market fit when you go and sell the product, and it's fairly easy to sell the product. If it's a grind when you're selling your product, that means there's something that doesn't work.
So it's just something that you feel. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, because every business is different, right? Like,
yeah,
it's hard to generalize what it means. But to me, I found that whenever I tried to sell a product and it was like a grind to sell it, and again, they could also be that in the beginning you might have a hard time because people don't trust you because you haven't built a reputation. Absolutely. But you want to make sure what you're selling resonates with people and it's actually solving a pain point. If it isn't, that you might not have product market fit. But there's there's also black swan events or outliers that where everybody seems to not wanting that product. I mean, I think Airbnb was a good example. Like it wasn't something that just skyrocketed out of nowhere. At first, it was a grind in the beginning, and then when people just kind of got more used to the concept, then it exploded. But before then, it was a bit of a grind. So it applies maybe on the B2B. What I'm saying, and I don't know if in the consumer side, I don't have as much experience on the consumer side, so I can't speak to that.
I appreciate that. What would be your best piece of advice for a starting founder?
It depends on where they are on the starting phase, but I want to say, like, make sure that you're willing to go through the pain and are not scared to fail. Like, you have to be okay and going out there, fail and be okay with it, right? And also be willing not to give up, because sometimes the difference between a very successful person and not is
persistence.
I won't give up before the other.
Right. I have one last question for you. What's your favorite software product, SaaS product that you use, but apart from Jurny?
I use a lot of them. I say
if you can decide, you can do a top 3 or some tools that you like.
Well, okay, ChatGPT. There you go.
Perfect. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to mention today on the podcast?
No. I mean, that was great questions. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Luca. You did fantastic, and I appreciate your answers. You did great.